Hello friends, this is Pastor Bakoshi again. I want to draw our attention again to some of the things that I've started talking about some time back with regards to the masculine journey, with regard to manhood, the stages in manhood. A critical factor that is very glaring in our time today with the challenges that we're facing is what the Hebrew referred to as Enosh, the wounded male. It is part of our journey as males, as men, that will pass through woundedness of life. And that is why we know it, even as we struggle with our lives right from when we were given birth to. That circumcision that we all had, or many of us had as males, is the beginning of our pain. So we'll pass through the woundedness of life, where issues of life come and go. It makes you become sometimes so impotent that it affects your sexuality, it affects your view of life, it affects everything about you. And your female counterpart would not understand what this guy is passing through at this point in time. How can he fail as a young man sexually? He has no sexual prowess again. How can he fail? It's because of the difficulties. And that is why I find that men lash out in anger, punching, kicking, shooting, killing, and doing all kinds of things most of the times. So it is for us to realize that in life, even as we pass through our infancy, our adolescence, and into our maturity, we are going to pass through this. Now, the wounded experience is supposed to make us more matured persons as we grow. As we become more matured persons, we have passed through experiences of the difficulties of life. So as men, we need to be aware that there is woundedness. And then in the woundedness, we are expected to be warrior-like. We are expected to continue to forge ahead in this difficult and challenging time. Our female counterparts may not have this kind of they have their own challenges, but may not have this kind of challenges because the society expects us to perform, to meet up certain expectations as husbands, as fathers, as sons, and so on and so forth, and leaders in the society. So this wounded experience can dampen your enthusiasm, can pull you down. But then you need to get up and think through these issues. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that at times you find a person sitting down, looking morose, doesn't want to say anything. Some will go into drugs, some will go into all kinds of things. Some will say they have to do this or that in order to meet up. When you see somebody morose, when you see somebody pensive, what he's saying is that I need help. What it means is that you need to listen to that person as the person shares his own burden so that you can help the person. But it's a normal way of life for men to pass through this woundedness where life may not go as you want it to be. Because every day things are changing, every day difficult situations are arising. So as you pass through this, holding strongly onto God, that is where the crutch is, or that is where the crux of the matter is. Holding onto God, having strong faith, holding onto Him, trusting Him that God is able to see me through. And then other brothers need to come around you to help you. Other people need to be there to help you. If we're able to do that, because one of the things with men is that we are not very sociable. We don't relate with each other. We think that we are that strong macho guy that can just get up and just do things the same way that we've been doing it some years back. No, we need others to hold our hands together so that we can stand firm in these very difficult and challenging times that we'll find ourselves in our woundedness. Because sometimes in this woundedness, many people fall out. Some people become syncretistic. They go to all kinds of places. And then some will even throw away their faith and say that I don't believe in God, because if God is there, why am I passing through this? What I'm trying to say to us this time is that it is normative, it is the norm, it is normal for us to pass through these very difficult and challenging times as men. And then as we emerge from it, trusting God, as we hold on to God and emerge from it, we become more mature so that we can be able to advise others. It is at that point that we become what the Hebrew word or the Hebrew Bible refers to as Zaken, the wise people, the sages who have passed through this. In fact, there is a Hebrew saying that the longer one lives, that when you live long enough, you will see all things. So there's nothing new, as Solomon will tell us in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. So as we pass through all the challenges of life, we're able to help the younger folks, the younger ones, that it is the way of life. There are difficulties, there are challenges, but we need to soldier on. We need to be warrior-like and to go on and to surmount them. God helping us, we will surmount them. And at that point, we will be wiser, so that when we see things, we can be able to counsel and help others to understand that it is the way of life to have these difficulties. But it is the way of strength, the way of men, the way of trust in God to surmount it. May God help us in Jesus' name.